Hello, this is Nindy Kerr from Nindy's Creative Corner. Today we are going to learn to use the Wondrous Wreath stamp set and coordinating framelits. Here are two samples I've done. I forgot about the bow stamp on this one, but it looks cute anyway. We'll be doing this version today. So let's get started. You will need a card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And you'll also need, and this is very vanilla cardstock, you'll also need a 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of very vanilla cardstock to do your stamping and die cutting on. I think I'm going to put this direction. These stamps are only available in photopolymer, which is really nice because they are a two-step stamp and it's much easier to use when you can see what you're doing. So in case you're not familiar with photopolymer stamps, I'll show you how to mount the first stamp and some special things about these stamps and framelits that I really enjoy. See this little tab here? It's not meant to be inked up. It is meant as a marker so you can more easily line up your stamped image with your framelits and with your other stamps in the layer so that you can get everything easily lined up with just a few seconds time instead of multiple instead of minutes of time and frustration. So let's get started. I'm using the F block, I believe. No, the E block for these larger stamps. One way to get a good image with your photopolymer stamps is to stamp on a Stampin' piercing mat. So save one for just stamping and you will get good results. I am also going to need a piece of scratch paper because my ink is darker than I would like. I've decided mine is just too juicy, and you really can't technically complain about too juicy. So for this one I'm using the Hello Honey. And since it turns out almost brown, I'm stamping it off. And then stamping with my little tab thingy aimed up to the top. And I'm also putting it close to the top because I'm going to use the bottom for my bow. Okay, there we go. I'm next going to use the stamp that has just some of the leaves. And yes, the stamp's this color, but it really doesn't matter because the color doesn't transfer to other projects, so it's not worth worrying about. I'm also going to stamp this one off. And notice my tab is going up to the top. Let's see if I can do this with my head not in the way. Well, hopefully this is good, since the camera's right where my head needs to be. Okay, we lined that up pretty well. Our little berry stamp can go on a D block. Just barely fits. We will be stamping the berries in Cajun Craze. And this is one of the older stamp pads. And it probably needs to be re-inked, so move that out of the way so I don't get it. I'm using the C block for the bow and Cajun Craze for to stamp the bow in. And we're going to stamp it down towards the bottom. And if we're lucky, we can do all these framelits, put all the framelits on at the same time. and just make one run through the Big Shot. Okay, let's bring in the Big Shot and the Framelits. Okay, we will add our Framelits, and just a little tab on this one. We want it to aim the same direction, and we don't want any ink to show. Then we'll put on our big one, aim the tab up again, and try to position it around all the leaves. Anyway, just fiddle around with it till you're happy. And it looks like our bow will fit on just fine. So we have the magnetic platform, or you can use your multi-purpose platform with all the tabs closed, a cutting plate, your cardstock and Framelits, and then a top cutting plate. And just pop things out and remove the Framelits. Trying hard to get in that habit and stay in that habit. There's our cute little wreath. There's our bow. Okay, let's move the Big Shot and assemble our card. For the wreath, I have just used whole dimensionals, usually 6 or so. I guess maybe 5. Oh, I don't know, I guess 4 with the way I did it. Maybe I'll throw a couple of half ones in between there. It's always such a, I don't know, guessing game every time. For the bow, you will need half dimensionals because it's just too narrow. And if there's a big half and a small half, put the small half on then you can twist your wreath around until you get it in the position you like. Add your bow. Actually, I think I'll add it at the top this time. We'll go ahead and stamp a sentiment on. I'm using a stamp from the Good Greeting stamp set, which through the end of October you can earn with the $300 order or party. So straight down, straight up. Now remove all our dimensional backs. I'll do that real quick. I think we'll put it in this position. Kind of center it. And add our bow up at the top this time. Since with the bow separate, we can choose where we want it to go. There is our completed card, which here is the one that we did at my class. And here's one I did earlier. For Christmas, you will want to use 2 of your favorite greens, a darker one and a lighter one, and you can use red for the bow. And use a fun Christmas sentiment. So, have fun making this cute little wreath card. It's quick and simple, and people will be impressed. Remember to check out my blog for more paper crafting and card making ideas, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also sign up for my letter to get 3 exclusive projects each month. So, happy stamping! Bye!